So what I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to cover a little bit of the body weight, talk about tension, getting your body strong, and how that's going to carry over no matter what the modality is, if it's kettlebells, if it's barbells, if it's dumbbells, whatever your modality is, getting your body tight and staying tight in body weight will transfer over. So the things that I want you guys to write down are some of our principles so that you guys can refer back to these. Okay, so I want you guys to be able to walk away from this session with a better understanding of how to tense your body without load. So just anything you can do if you're traveling, it's just your own body, and carry that into your training. So the three principles, the first one is irradiation. So we're going to talk about squeezing energy. So being able to power breathe, get tight, and stay tight.
What's the word?
Irradiation. Okay. There's three neural power generators that are going to be the most important for you getting strong. So it's going to be your abs, your glutes, and your grip. How many of you guys work your grip on a regular basis? Good. Well, a lot of our lifting, if you're lifting heavy, you're going to get grip work anyways. And I recently did an article about grip training. So if you're not adding that into your training, you can reference back to that article. It's on the Girls Gone Strong site and kind of get some ideas on what you can do for a stronger grip, okay? So the other thing with irradiation, I want you guys to think about power breathing, which I'm going to teach you, and think of lat linkage, not leakage, okay? So I'm going to give you some examples of how to do that. The second principle,
What was that?
I'm sorry, lat linkage, not leakage. So we're not leaking our tension, we're wanting to link our whole body up so that we can get really strong and stay tight. Okay? The next one is feed forward tension.
Can you face this way?
Yes, I'm sorry, feed forward tension. Feed. Okay, so you must be able to tense your muscles maximally without an external load. So that's where the body weight comes in. Can you get them really strong and really tight without adding a barbell, a kettlebell, and so on? Okay, so with feed forward tension, we're also going to be talking about zipping up.
Did you say flipping?
Zipping.
Zipping.
Corkscrewing. Active negative. And it's the ability to take your muscles under complete control.
Can you say that again?
Taking the ability to take your muscles under complete control. And the last one is dominata, which is basically having one main focus. So the example I normally give for this to make it make sense is, yes, you're going to have goals, you're going to have other things that you want to do, but when you're training for something specific, so let's say if you're training, do you guys know what the Iron Maiden is? Okay. Those that don't, it's a challenge within Strong First or the RKC where females will do one pull-up, one press, and one pistol with a 24 kilo, and the guys do that with a 48 kilo, which is it's called the Beast Tamer. So in order to understand dominata, when I was training for the pull-up, I was having a hard time being able to get over the bar with 53 pounds added to my body. If I put kettlebells on my feet, I could get over the bar no problem. The same exact weight, but if I put it on my waist, I wasn't able to do the same pull. So when it was at my waist, I had so many things I was focusing on. Big weight in front of me, was uncomfortable, it wasn't in a good position, and trying to get over the bar. When it was on my feet, I didn't have to think about the bells or think about getting tight, because when you're holding bells like this, it forces you into a hollow and it forces you to automatically have that tension. So all I had to think about was getting over the bar. Does that make sense? So I had one focus rather than three. Stay tight, hold this big bell in front of me, and get over the bar. Okay? So that's dominata, having one focus. So you'd be able to get tight, stay tight, and not have to think about it, and just focus on the main goal, which was doing that pull. Okay? So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about before we get moving is learning to listen to your body, mastering your body. Okay? We don't have to go all out all the time. If you treat your training like a practice, you're going to find that you get stronger in a lot of ways quicker than you would if you're just constantly pushing it. So it's not always about overtraining, but sometimes it's about under recovery. If you're not giving yourself enough time because you're constantly pushing it to that limit. Okay? So think about treating your training like a practice. Okay? If you guys want to find a place to put your writing material, then we're going to spread out, and everyone's going to need a partner, just for a quick drill. Hey, Nagar, will you be my partner for a second? Okay, one of the quickest ways to understand tension and how important your tension is, what I'm going to have you guys do, and this is going to seem silly at first, but you're going to be with your partner, make sure your pointer finger is out. I'm partner A, she's partner B, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to show her, I'm going to set a baseline. Where is my strength right now? Nothing fancy, just quick grip. She sees where I'm at, I'm going to see where she's at. Okay, that's the first thing. So just do that really quick and then face back this way and we'll move on to the next step. Just grip. Just let them see how strong you are.
They're like, what?
Okay. Right, I told you guys, it seems silly right now. But what I want you guys to think about is how important it is to get tight, right? I didn't tell you to get tight yet. I just told you to grip. So your grip is not very strong that way. But if you utilize your breath and able to corkscrew your lats, engage your muscles, your grip is going to be a lot stronger. So what I want you guys to do this time is you're going to do a power breath. But you're also going to push your feet into the ground, link up. I want you to think about squeezing your butt cheeks, bracing your abs, engaging your lat, and using a power breath. And it should be a lot stronger.
I even
Okay.
tightened up when she did it.
Okay, so push through the ground, squeeze your glutes, brace your abs. Okay. Does it feel stronger? Okay. Okay, you guys spread around this way. I want to be able to see you guys in your plank position when I get you guys spread out. So just make lines where you guys can get here, like as if you're going to do push-ups. Some people can come right here. Okay? So the power breath is going to carry over to everything that you guys do. So I don't expect you guys to like stand there and shake someone's hand and like and just get really tight, okay? And the key is, did you see that time when I started hissing, I actually started getting smaller? Okay, we don't want that either. You want to stay tall. So your tension is from your shoulders down, and your face should actually be relaxed. And what we call that is if you can get tight in your body and still be relaxed in your face, it's called breathing behind the shield. So you get tight everywhere, you're relaxed in the face, okay? So we're going to demo that in a couple of other areas. First one is you guys are going to go ahead and get into a plank position on your elbows and your toes. Okay, so what we're seeing is a lot of our standard planks, okay? Go ahead and relax on your bellies for a second. And I'm going to show you guys, do you want to do this? Do you mind? And then I'll just talk through it. Okay, so a lot of times if you see, if you see people do planks in the gym, a lot of times you'll see low back sagging, right? Okay, that would be leakage. She's leaking tension there and not staying tight. Or she could send her hips up really high, okay, and arch, okay? And obviously both of these are a little exaggerated so you can get the idea. But what we want to do here is make sure that our shoulders are stacked right over our elbows. This is going to be your strongest position versus being angled. If she was pushing back too far and they would be angled this way or angled forward, she's not going to be as strong. So we're going to get in this plank position. Then she's going to take her hips up slightly, and I want you to think when you get in this position about pointing your belly button towards your face. So that's going to lock everything in really tight. She's going to squeeze her glutes. She's going to push through her heels. Then in this position, once you're here, I want you guys to do the hiss, the power breath really quick. And when you do that, I want you to focus as if you're bringing your elbows and your knees together but you're not actually letting yourself pike if it wants to make you do that, okay? So you're just gonna get tight, shouldn't be able to knock her over, and I want you guys to feel the difference in your first plank and this plank, and then we're gonna move on from there, okay? Sorry, I left you there for a really long time. Okay?
Is the key to keep your head neutral position even while you're breathing, right?
Yes. So remember, from your shoulders up, you should be relaxed. So you should be able to tense your body, squeeze your glutes, brace your abs, and then be relaxed in your face. Okay? So we're not rounding our back, we're not sagging, but we are getting tight. Okay? Now, go ahead and relax again. Yeah, Nagarma, she's going to come around and correct some hips if there's someone that's needing anything adjusted to see what we're feeling. Now, another way to feel this tension, and I'm going to have you guys start seeing how it is to really engage one side more than the other, because what we do with this at our cert is we would go from these planks to one-arm push-ups. Okay? So when you get back on the ground, what I want you guys to think about this time is you're going to get in your position, and you're going to pull one side really hard, and you're going to lift the other one off the ground without sagging. So you're not losing the hip level, you're not like twisting at the shoulders, you want to stay parallel, but you really want to engage in your lats and pull your arm back to your side.
It's a lot easier to do if you make a wide
Yes,
stance.
so put your feet about shoulder width distance. Okay, and then when you guys are there, try to keep your hips down as low as you can, and you're always focusing on pointing your belly button towards your face. Okay? Now, another way to get this same feeling, if you have someone that's just not getting it in a plank, you can have them on their back. Can I use you as an example, just because you're close? Yeah. Can you roll over onto your back? Okay, so if you're wanting them to get this feeling of connection, have them bring their knee and their elbow together on one side, lay the other one out flat. Actually, this side. Yeah, just side to side. This.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's right. And tell them to bring them together and not let you pull them apart. Okay, so they can get that tension feeling and then take them back to their plank and make them mimic what you just did here. Okay, does it feel really tight when you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so try that really quick with your partner and then take that back to your plank.
Which side's good? Sort of like taking little videos.
No, that's fine. Okay, has everyone tried that? Okay. So you guys are starting to understand the tension in your body? Okay. The reason I'm showing you guys this is in a lot of body weight drills, it's full total body tension, full tension in your body if you're going to do a one-arm push-up or you're going to do a handstand push-up, something like that. So what I'm going to have you guys do now is you're going to go ahead and go into a straight arm plank, and we're going to get you in the setup to do a really good solid push-up so that it can transfer over to a one arm. Even if that's not your goal, I just want you to have the idea of the setup, and it's going to make your normal push-up stronger. Okay? So your hands are going to be slightly more narrow than your shoulders. This is more shoulder friendly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then again, like we talked about, the shoulder being over the elbow, over the wrist. So this is a nice solid position. I'm going to have her go ahead and take her feet out just a little bit wider because you're never going to do a one-arm push-up with your feet together. Okay? You're going to have that base. But we don't take them any wider than 2 times the shoulders. Okay? That would be cheating. So nice solid base from here. And then what she's going to do is she's going to use her breath and she's going to row herself to the ground. So elbows are going to come in by her ribs and she's going to be nice and tight. Pause and then power breath to explode back up. Okay? So you're rowing yourself to the ground. We're not dropping to the ground. We're doing the active negative, right? So you're actually pulling yourself to the ground and pause. But I want you guys to really focus on what's going on with your elbows. We see a lot of push-ups out here, right? That's another place you're never going to do a one-arm push-up. You want it to mimic what you're going to transfer into later if you want to just keep getting stronger. So when you get into that position, I want you guys to think about no chicken wings. So we're not bringing our elbows out. We're corkscrewing our shoulders back and then rowing and staying really tight. And power breath back up. Okay? So a couple reps. Don't drop to the ground. Actually pull yourself to the ground. Okay? And your hips should be coming down with you. They should not be staying high. And there's a couple reasons I'm telling you guys this, and we're starting here, because when we transition into kettlebell work or barbell work, what do you think the top of a swing is?
Plank.
A plank, right? Is this our plank? No. This would be the top of our swing, right? Top of the deadlift, top of the clean, top of a press. It all carries over. So learning tension, once you learn it and you master it, then you can adjust the volume of tension that you need for each given skill, right? So it's not, we use the example of a stereo. You're not changing the station because you're doing a different skill. You're just adjusting the volume. How much volume do you need for a press, a heavy press or a light press, a one-arm press, a deadlift? And it's a skill, has to be practiced, okay? So now we're going to move on, and we're fast tracking this. If you guys come to a cert, we're going to spend like 3 hours just on the push-up, okay? But I'm going to try to give you guys just a taste of this. So we're going to now move into what you need to do with your body when you take an arm away. And then we're going to move on to some kettlebell stuff, okay? So when you get into that position, what I want you to be able to do is get tight. So you're squeezing your glutes, you're bracing your abs, corkscrew the shoulders back, and you're going to slightly shift to the side that you would actually be pressing with. We're not pressing today unless you guys already are pretty close to a one arm. But I want you to be able to get there without sagging and shifting, okay? So try to transition. I know. And if you already do single arm planks, make it harder. Try to take it to a one arm, one leg, right? Because that could still be a progression to make your one arm stronger by doing one arm, one leg planks. Okay. Now, if you're trying to go from one arm to one leg and your body's shifting and moving, you're leaking tension, okay? So it shouldn't be this, okay? You should get tight. Okay? So you should be able to look the same. You're just taking a couple limbs away to make it more advanced. Okay? So try that again. But use your power breath and then relax in your face. And you don't lift really high. If you lift the back leg really high, you're going to lose tension in your glutes and you're going to curve in your lumbar. So you should still be tucked and tight when you lift and push through the back heel. Okay, before we move on, the last thing I want to talk to you guys about with planks and push-ups is we teach a lot about owning the position, and it's not just the straight arm position and the down position, it's owning all the positions. So if you practice getting tight, you find your sticking point and that becomes your new plank. Okay, so it's not just planks on the elbows or straight arm. Maybe you need to get in the bottom position and be completely relaxed and learn how to zip up. And just stay there, okay, till you own it. Can you get here and stay tight? Talk. If you can talk and sing and do power breath, then you're breathing behind the shield, okay? You can do that in that position. You can do it in other planks. Maybe you want to go in Superman or Spider-Man. You're out here, completely relaxed. and learning how to zip up. And hold. Okay? So you can start from the top down or the bottom up, but that's what I'm talking about when we were talking about feed forward tensioning and zipping, is being completely relaxed and then tensing your whole body into a position that you want to be in. Okay? So try that. Either elbows in, you can start from the top down, but find your sticking point where you would normally fall out or lose some of that tension and curve your body or lose your glute tension and go to just that position. Okay, so right there, bring your elbows in super tight. Come back up and take here and point to. There you go, right there. Feel the difference? Anyone finding any spots in their body that are starting to cramp because they're now learning how to tense them? Yeah. Might be your lats. Might be your quads. Okay. Anyone know how we are on time? I don't even know what time we're supposed to be done. 12? Okay. So let's move on to what we would do with some of the kettlebell stuff, how this is going to transfer over. So I'd already mentioned that the top of your swing is a plank. The top of pressing, deadlifting, all of those things you would want to be tight. But what I want you guys to think about is what's the setup as well. Like, how do you get in the right position for a swing or a deadlift? So you guys are all going to go ahead and stand up. This is one of the quickest ways to get your students in the right position and know what to do with their lats. So go ahead and stand about shoulder width distance. Put your hands on your knees. Okay. First thing that normally happens here, because of typing, texting, sitting, we shrug our shoulders up next to our ears. Right? So the first thing I want you guys to do is think about the lat linkage. Put your shoulders in your pockets. Did you feel your lats engaged? Okay. So this is the first part of getting into deadlift. And then I also want you guys to think, send the hips up, bring them back. Find that neutral position where you can be engaged in your core so that when you go to your bar or your bell, you're in the right position. Okay? So shoulders down in your pockets. Pressing your feet through the floor, and your abs are engaged. Okay, so if we were going to do that, that would take you into the right position. You'd have your bell in between your feet. So I'm here, find my bell, and then stand into the plank position. Okay, now obviously we don't have enough bells for everyone to do that. If you guys want to try that, here in just a minute, we'll just have everyone kind of cycle through. The other thing about finding the right position for swings, a lot of people start too wide. So you see people swinging out here. You're not going to have the optimal power there. So what I want you guys to think about is you're going to go ahead and stand, and I want you guys to do 4 jumps. You're just going to come off the ground, do a big jump as if you're going to do a box jump. Just jump in the air. And then on the 5th one, just stop and don't come off the ground. Okay. Look at your feet. If you have kettlebell experience, or if you've done kettlebell swings, is this where you normally stand? Okay, good. Because a lot of people, I mean, I did it early on as well. I remember assisting at a workshop and someone took pictures and I was like this and had no idea that I was trying to do swings out here, and this is not where I'm going to have power out here. Okay, so think about narrowing the stance, and then you would move back from that, from your deadlift, and you would hinge at the hips. Okay, so the Russian kettlebell swing is a hinge, where if you've done the American swing, that's more of a squat. So there is a difference, okay? So what I'm teaching today is just the Russian swing. So you would step back about a foot from your bell. You're going to hinge at the hips. So I'm still in that same position, right? Grip the bell, tilt it towards you. And this is where I would corkscrew again. So I'm going to engage my lats and then hike and swing. Okay, that's something else you guys could, like I said, there's not many bells, but you guys can try that here in just a moment. So are you guys understanding how this all carries over? The tension in your body is going to make you stronger no matter the tool, from deadlifts to squats and so on. Okay. Any questions so far? No? Okay. So let's get into squats, because that we can do with a partner since we don't have the bells, enough bells to do this. So I want to get you guys into what we call a tactical frog position. So you're going to lay down on the floor, and you're going to be knees out. And I apologize if there might be mats back there if this is uncomfortable for you guys. But I want you to think about laying down, spreading the knees out, feet are out to the side, and then you're going to come down on your elbows. Okay? Your hips, for the optimal goblet squat or front squat, we want to get rock bottom. So the key here is to be able to get your hips past your knees. Okay? So you should be sitting back. If you're super mobile, you can go ahead and flatten out on your stomach if you can still keep your hips past your knees. You're going to do feet out, so think frog. So your feet are out to the side. Your hips should be past your knees, like back, yes. Okay, so the key is to get deeper in your frog, but you're not trying to arch your back, okay? So look here really quick. If you guys can see, I'm sorry. We're not tilting our hips up here, okay? You want to keep your core engaged, okay? And like I said, if you're mobile, then you can lay down. So it'd be more like an overhead squat. But the key is that this is opening up your hips. So you can do hip flexor stretches and spend some time in tactical frog so that when we move into the next step, you guys can get deeper in your squat, okay? It's not something that you just hang out in for. You want to spend some time here and really get deep in this, okay? Then from there, Nagar, can I borrow you again? Now, just so you guys know, obviously we're here today just giving you guys quick demos on this to kind of lead into your training. Normally when we do kettlebell training, we're barefoot. So just ignore that we're in.
I'm wearing wedges. Should I take them off?
That's why I'm going in.
The complete opposite.
Yeah, you don't want to be on heels. No, I'll let you leave your shoes on right now. But I just wanted to point that out. Like you want to be flat foot.
You don't want to wear wedges.
Why? First off, when you're in a wedge, you're not at the optimal stance. You're not in neutral stance. Okay, so you're pitched forward. Your hips are more back. Think about when we wear heels, right? What happens to our hips?
That's why we do it, though, right?
Right, because it makes our butts look better, right? But when you're in flat shoes, I don't even train in these. I like to train barefoot. And also, the other reason we train barefoot is for proprioception, being able to feel the ground and be rooted to the ground. So I like to talk about when you're rooted to the ground, it's almost like you're a tree and you have roots that are digging into the ground. That's where your tension starts. If you're doing exercises, swing, for example, and you're rocking and you're not being rooted to the ground, you're losing that tension. That would be another place where you're leaking tension, okay? But since she looks cute, so we're just gonna let her stay in this for right now for the demo. But what I'm gonna have you guys do is start working on that depth of your squat. We're gonna do a partner squat, and then when she gets to the bottom, she's gonna do a little bit of a figure eight and a prying to find out where her depth is, okay? So I'm gonna give her that little bit of a counterbalance that she doesn't need, but, and then she's gonna, yeah, then she's gonna pull into her squat, and then she's just gonna pry a little bit, find that optimal position, that way you're not too wide, not too narrow, and then you would power breath to come back out, okay? So partner A, she does hers, and then she would hold, and I would do mine, okay? So you guys are gonna do that really quick. Yeah, super easy in heels.
I know, I was like, you want me to do a pistol? I could do that?
Yeah.
What do you want? What are you most going to be able to do at the end? Like, are you leading them to something, or is it just like an overview?
It wasn't going to be an overview, but it kind of is because of the belt. Yeah.
Yeah, this is embarrassing.
So I may have
Also,
them.
what do you do with that one? Is that Kenzie's belt? Kenzie's even heavier than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she can push press to 12 kilo now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing. Isaac deadlifted 100 pounds.
I saw that.
Hey,
It was good.
That's the heaviest kettlebell we have. So now I can teach him how to barbell.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, dude. He's fucking loves it.
I'm also gonna, you know the pulling drill where you lay on your back?
Yeah.
And you pull your knees in?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do that next to get them pulling versus dropping.
Right. I feel like
Okay, how are you guys feeling? Okay, round back up. Okay, the next step is just like we were doing the active negative in the push-up where we were pulling ourselves to the ground, we would do that in our squat as well. It's gonna be more efficient for you. You're gonna get stronger, faster. So this next drill that you're gonna do is she's gonna lay on her back. She's gonna bring her feet up. Now I'm actually just gonna barely put my hands here. She's gonna hold on to my hands. She's gonna straighten out her legs and she's gonna pull her knees to her armpits. I'm gonna give her resistance, okay? But I have to let her win to get the feeling for this, right? Okay? And then I relax and go again. And then you're going to mimic that standing up. So, right, how many times do you see people squat and they just go? Versus get into the position, pull your knees to your armpits, and stand back up. Okay, so I want you guys to feel the difference. Do a regular squat, do the partner drill, do a pulling squat, and then switch places. Okay? Okay, did everyone get a shot? Try that? Okay, so I'm going to demo a couple different types of squats. Again, hopefully there'll be a chance for you guys to try these. So goblet squat. Let me move back. Actually, maybe those in the front, go ahead and kneel down so everyone can see. And some of you guys may already know these, but I want to show you just a couple other variations. So goblet squat, exactly what you just did, but now you're going to hold a bell. Okay, so you're going to pull yourself. You can pry, you can hang out here for a second, and back up. A front squat, you would hold it in the rack position with a nice vertical arm, and then same thing, pull yourself to the ground, tension breath on the way back up. Another one that I really like for being able to teach people if they're losing their tension in the squat is a bottoms up squat. So if they lose their tension, the bell will flip over, okay? So bottoms up would be here, and then pull yourself into your squat, okay? So if they relax at the bottom, they sit too low, it's gonna fall, right? So it teaches them how to stay tight. You can do double, single, and back up, okay?
Is it tension weight squat?
I'm sorry?
Tension weight?
Bottoms up.
Bottom up.
Yeah. You want that same tension in all of your squats. And again, you're going to dial the tension back if it's really heavy or not. But you will find that you're going to get out of breath quicker when you have to do tension for bottoms up. Okay?
When you do the single arm swing, does your thumb turn in, or you always just keep your hand straight?
There's a couple different thoughts on that. I personally have my thumb go back. But whether your thumb stays forward, it stays back, the key is that your shoulder has to stay packed. So if you're doing a one-arm swing and you're sending your thumb back and then you're disconnecting and rounding here, then I would say you need to focus on keeping the shoulder packed. I did kind of a little test because there's some people say, no, you need to have thumbs up versus thumbs back. I found in my gym, just as a test and a study, the guys preferred thumbs up, or if they were bigger chested, broader shouldered guys, they liked thumbs up. Because if they had to cross over all the mass of the chest and the shoulders, they would disconnect. So it really depends on the person, but the key is the shoulders are most important. So if you can get them to keep their shoulders packed, doesn't really matter if it's thumb forward, thumb back. But the reason we do one or the other is when you move on to double bells, if you don't, the bells are gonna hit your legs versus come here, okay? But the key is keeping the shoulders packed is most important, okay? It's just gonna keep them safe. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions on everything we've done this far?
What's a good rule of thumb on the goblet squat? How far away does it need to be from you, essentially, when you're going down? Like,
There's not any set rule on how far. I mean, you don't want it really far away. It's just going to be right in front of you. You just don't want it to rest on your body. Okay. That's just not good to set a bell on breast tissue. So we don't have it rest on our chest. Same reason when you see, like, guys may hold a bell here on their chest and have their thumb more midline, where we're going to have ours more bra strap. Okay. So for females, I try to have females think, if you are going to send your thumb back, think your thumb goes towards your butt and back to your bra strap. Just like a good position for ladies to remember where it needs to be. Okay. Now, the vertical arm, the reason I like to teach that is because I like to do bottoms up, and it's just a nice transition. So if you're used to having it here and then you have to transition into this vertical arm, it's just another learning curve. But if you always do your cleans with a vertical arm, here versus here. See, it's just a slight difference. But also, when you guys try this, you can do this with a partner. Actually, I'll just show you. Have you done kettlebells, right?
yeah.
A little bit? Okay. So if she has cleaned a bell, go ahead and face this way to the camera. If she has her arm here, what I want to have her do is I'm going to be her bell, okay? And I'm going to make her pull this elbow in just a little bit. Did you feel your lat engaged there? Okay, so it's going to get you nice and tight. Now, you don't want to do it so far that your elbow, your hand comes out. But if she's here, it's not engaged as much as if she's here and then pulling it down as if you're trying to pull your elbow into your hip. Okay? So you guys can try that really quick with a partner. Yeah. Yeah, just you should be feeling your lat engage when you pull the elbow down. Yes. I feel like I'm having to like cram like a whole cert into like just a couple minutes. Yeah.
Exactly. I never heard that.
Yeah, so if you think of rather having it there, bring it back out here, and now sink this elbow down.
Yeah.
See how much stronger that is?
Yeah.
And then tuck your hips forward, right there. Okay, so that puts you into that plank.
Right.
Okay. Are you guys feeling the importance of tension? Where you're gonna get tight? Okay. This will also translate to military pressing. Okay? If you stay tight, you're gonna have a better military press. If you leak your tension, okay, how often do you see people try to press and then when it gets heavy they lean over, okay? All of this is leaking tension. You want to stay upright. So when you're pressing heavy, the best way to do that, and I've just started using my opposite arm, so rather than having it out to the side, I bring it in as if I'm gonna do 2 bells, and what does it do? It gives me feedback, right? My elbow already goes into my side if I start to lose my tension. So if you stay here and stay tight, you're rooted through the floor, your kneecaps are pulled up, your glutes are tight, your abs are tight, and then you can shift when it's heavy just slightly to the side. See that little bit of a shift, and it stacks everything. And then pull back down. So we're using the active negative again to stay tight. Okay. So it should all carry over. So if you guys want to practice that portion, I'll show you a way to do that really quick since we don't have enough bells. Go ahead and go into, actually I'll just use another example. Can you go on half kneeling? Okay, so from here, the reason I have her in half kneeling is because once she presses, I'm not going to be tall enough, right? So she's going to have her bell. I'm going to be the resistance. Go ahead and point your belly button towards your face and think about getting everything tight. Power breath. Okay, now press. Go ahead and press me up.
All the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then she's going to stay tight here, so don't lose that tilt. Okay, then at the top, when I want her to do the active negative, pull down, all the way down. So I'm giving her the resistance. Just so you guys can pattern and mimic what you should be doing with a bell. And you can do this with your students before you load them. So I always talk about pattern a move, practice a move before you load it. Okay, so try this as well. Get tight, press your partner's hand without leaning, and then give them the resistance on the active negative on the way back down. Yep, and then give her resistance where she has to pull into your hand, and then you're pulling your elbow back here. See how everything engages when you do that? So you want to do that on the negative of your press.
Did you give a resistance for top?
Yeah.
Switch your good shoulder.
Okay, so when you guys are doing this, remember that your core should be, you should be keeping your core tight. Your glutes should be tight. Okay? So become their weight. Good. Yep. So solid knees. Go ahead and bring your knees really solid. Glutes tight. Okay. Did everyone get the feeling there of the active negative and the press? Good.
I like that. Here's the other side.
Yeah. It just gives you a nice feedback. Like if you get the elbow into your side, you know you've lost your tension and let go. Okay, so we're going to take a step back to body weight really quick to bring this all full circle, okay? I want you guys to sit on the ground with your legs extended. And I'm going to show you guys another way to focus on tensing your lats and staying tight, okay? So you're going to do an L sit. Or you can cross your knees if you want to do that first. But the key here is this is going to help you not shrug your shoulders. It's going to make you pull them into the socket, which is really important if you guys are moving on to push-ups, okay? How often do you guys see people try to do regular push-ups or one arm and they do this? And roll the shoulder. okay? That's the same leakage of tension. That shoulder needs to stay down. So one of the ways to mimic that feeling is to get into, you can do this seated here if you need to. If you have short arms, you can, like me, you can go up on your fingertips. But the key is that you're gonna pull your shoulders into the socket and try to lift and hold off the ground. Okay? You should feel everything get tight. And if that's too much, then just bring your feet in and lift yourself. But see how it forces that connection in your lats? Okay?
Arms are too short. I didn't.
Well, here's the other thing. If you're trying to put your hands behind your hips, you're never going to get off the ground. Okay? This is where we have our heaviest load, most of us, right? So you have to put your hands forward. So if I'm sitting here, let me just use two so that you guys can see. If I'm trying to have my hands back there and lift, I'm never going to be able to do that, okay? It has to be, hopefully these won't fall over, a little more in front of you. Corkscrew. And hold, okay? So it has to be in front of the load or you're not going to be able to get off the ground. Difference?
Yeah.
Okay?
That was exciting.
Good. So now let's go back to our plank position. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to show you how to start progressing, in case you ever want to a one arm. Okay? Normally I would start people at the wall so that you can set in the best pattern. But most of the walls here have stuff around them. So I'll show you really quickly, if you guys watch on that side of the door, how you would do a wall setup so that you know that you have your hands in the right position and your feet in the right position, because it is different on the wall. And then we'll come back to the floor. So if you guys can all see over here. So if you have someone, and I highly recommend if you have students who cannot do push-ups, I would give them an elevation rather than putting them on their knees. When they're on their knees, they're going to lose they're not going to be able to tense their whole body the same way. So it'd be better to go to an elevation. So if I approach the wall and I just put my hands out, what's going to happen when I go to the bottom? Right? They're going to be too high. So what you want to do is, if you're at the wall, you start with your feet on the wall, and then you take your hands by your chest, corkscrew the shoulders, and you get tight here, and then step out so that you're in the right position to focus on one arm, or one arm, one leg. Okay? So you guys can try that on a break near a wall. But on the ground, when you do this setup, your hands are going to be in front of you. Your eyes should be looking as if you're making a line through your fingertips. So go ahead and get in that position. And you can be in quadruped right now, so you can be on your hands and knees. So don't have you hanging out in plank too long. Okay? So shoulders over elbow, over wrist. Your hands are slightly more narrow than your shoulders. Your eyes through your fingertips, and then go up on your toes. Okay? Shoulder width or 2 times as wide. And then you would row to the ground. Now, if you're working on one arm, obviously you're going to take an arm away if you want to try that. But normally I would say most people don't start on the ground. You start on an elevation. So if I were going to start, can you hold that there for me so it doesn't like fall anywhere? So if I were going to set up on an elevation, you want to make sure that your shoulders stacked. So get over, stack, okay? And then from there, you corkscrew the shoulder and you row yourself. So keep your hips mostly parallel. You row yourself down, stay tight, and push back up, okay? So how do you practice on the ground if you don't have elevation anywhere? You modify with the other hand, okay? So you can move the hand out to the side. You can do it in a planche position beside you. But you still do the setup. You still focus on this working arm. You're still going to row, but now you're just going to walk this hand out. And see how much help you need, okay? So you can do the whole hand. You can slowly move on to fingers, 2 fingers, and then eventually take it away, okay? But the key is that you start on an elevation where you don't lose that tension. You don't want to shrug at the bottom. That's going to set in a bad pattern. So If you guys want, throughout the weekend, if you are interested in one-arm push-ups and you want to find where is your optimal elevation to train at, stop me, find me on a break. I will help you so that you can leave here and know where your training should start, so that you're injury-free and get really strong.